What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. So today I figured I would kind of recap some of my trades today. Ended up finishing the day up about 2,300. I'll show it to you here in just a second. Let me move this right there. So all in all, it was a pretty good day. I can't complain. So right here, I'll circle it with this yellow box. Right, so this is my profit and loss for the day on TD Ameritrade. So I lost $48 on Facebook today. I made $1,482 on the stock HEAR. I lost $674 on SYMC. And then I also made another $1,479 on the stock TTD. So we'll talk more on the winners, and then I'll cover a little bit on the losers, and we'll go from there. So again, right, so today, my first trade, to be honest, was actually short on TTD, right? So on TTD this morning, so you can see here too, that's a profit on this ticker, 1,479. So what first happened is on TTD this morning, let me get this out of the way here. My first trade I took was actually short on TTD. So you see how big the stock was up pre-market. It was up from, $52 all the way to a high of 67. So initially there's already a lot of people thinking that this might dump out of the gates, as a lot of times they do. I knew that the trend was strong going into the bell, so I was a little hesitant trying to short it initially, right? So I didn't short the first candle. What I actually did is I actually got in short on the second candle. Once I seen the second candle turn red and start rolling over, I hopped in short, but I got a horrible fill and actually got filled basically at the bottom of the candle. So I basically got filled right at the bottom of this red candle, which was horrible. So I got a really bad fill. Instantly, this red candle squeezed up a bit, and then I was instantly down a few $100s. So what I did was I held it for a second, waited for this red candle to come back down, and I ended up closing out that position because I had a feeling that it was going to squeeze, right? If it doesn't initially dump right out of the gates, like a lot of times these big gappers, if they don't just dump immediately, chances are they're going to squeeze really hard. So I had a feeling it was going to squeeze. Once my first short didn't work out on this red candle, I immediately covered up for, I think, a $400 loss. And then I instantly turned around and I flipped long on this green candle as soon as it broke over this red one, right? So let me zoom in a bit here more. All right, so then my second trade was right here on not HER, but TTD. So first I got short on this red candle, got a bad fill, took about a $400 loss instantly. It was horrible. Then secondly, I came right around and I bought TTD as soon as it broke over this I bought this green candle right here as soon as it broke the previous red, because I just had a feeling it was going to squeeze super hard. It was up big pre-market. Shorts, already myself included, as shorts, we tried to push it down. It didn't work, so I immediately got out and flipped long with 1,000 shares, and it popped up from about, what is that, 68.30 all the way to a high on this candle, and I was able to get out with about $1,000 profit. Considering I took a $400 loss earlier, I was only up about 600 at that point, right? So as soon as it popped up, I immediately sold on this candle. Now, I could have held a little longer, but on the same token, I had already lost $400. Now I'm up positive $1,000 on this particular trade. I said, you know what, let's lock it in. I sold right at the top of that candle to put myself back up to positive $600 on the day. All right, and then the next trade, well, it's not actually the next trade I took, but then the next real big winning trade that I took today was, again, on TTD. So I watched TTD as it traveled through this kind of consolidation mode where we're going through highs and lows, and it wasn't yet breaking out, but as soon as we got to here, this is where I bought. I bought right on this candle, right? That's the candle I bought. So after my good trade on TTD, I held off. I let it go up. I didn't chase it up. I just let it do its thing. And I told myself, well, it's got a lot of volume still, right? It's still trending up. So let's see if it forms into an ascending pennant triangle, in which, in fact, it did. So this is ideally what happened, right? I told myself, you know, I'm looking at this chart and I go, well, I'm not going to chase it up. I already made good money on it. There's still a lot of volume. A lot of people are still trading it. So let's just hold back for a second, see if it performs into any familiar pattern. And at this point, I already thought to myself, you know, we got one low, right? So at this point, it already gone up and it pulled back to here. And I said to myself, this might in fact turn into a bullish pennant, right? Or an ascending triangle. And sure enough, it performed perfectly into a bullish pennant pattern. So I told myself, all right. So what I did next is I waited. Eventually, it creeped all the way back up. And as soon as it broke through the trend line right here, I hopped in with another 1,000 shares. So I hopped in 1,000 shares. The stock pops up. We kind of fiddle around right here on these two candles. I'm holding. And actually, on these two candles, this one and that one, it was right at the whole dollar mark of 71. If I go across, you'll see right there at 71. It was right at the whole dollar mark, these two candles. And they were just having a tough time trying to get through 71. So I was sitting there, I was a little nervous. You know, I'm in deep, you know, with 1,000 shares, right? And I didn't get filled right at this white line. I got filled a little higher on this green candle. So, you know, these two candles right here are going up and down. So, you know, I'm up 200, down 200, up 200, down 200, right? So you're like borderline about to make it, borderline about to lose. So you get a little nervous when you're in that situation. When you're not just green, but you're kind of borderline back and forth, it gets you a little on edge and it makes you a little jumpy, right? But then I just told myself, I'm like, you know what? This was a pretty solid pattern. There's still a lot of volume. You know, let's give it a little bit of time. So I bought this candle. I had to wait through these two kind of indecisive candles. And then next thing you know, this third candle, instantly, we break through 71. We squeeze all the way up to a high of 72.04. This trade, I ended up making about 1,200 on, okay? So I made about $1,200 on this trade, somewhere around there. So in all, I ended up making about $2,000 trading TTT today, considering I took, you know, an instant like $400 or $500 loss right out of the gates. And again, right, so just reviewing it, after I took my first trade, we had, you know, a nice bullish pennant. I waited till it broke the trend line and I entered right, you know, like right there. Had to wait through these two candles. And as soon as this one right here popped up, I instantly sold as high as I could get up on this candle for about another $1,000. And once again, I did take a loss on it earlier trying to short that red candle for just a complete dump out of the gates and a wash. So here it is again, the P&L on the active trader window, finishing out with just 1,000, about 1,500 on the day for TTD. All right. So then the next one we'll talk about is HEAR. Now I know HEAR went crazy. I missed a lot of opportunities on it today because I simply stopped paying attention to it so many times. And eventually I kicked myself in the head because I wasn't focusing enough on it. So I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's focus on it. So this is what ended up happening with HEAR. My first trade on HEAR was right here in the day. I had already missed multiple opportunities of it squeezing up. So once this big move happened, this one, I said, you know what? It's time to watch it. Stop messing up. You know, get your head in the game. Let's pay attention to HEAR. It's starting, you know, it's ripping, right? So let's pay attention to what everybody else is focusing on and see if we can't get a good trade. So considering HEAR, it's got a lot of volume, it's low flow, it's moving fast. This was the one that I said, you know what, I'll try and take pretty heavy share size on it, try and hit a nice big trade. Unfortunately, I didn't really hit that big of a trade for the share size that I took. So yeah, it's great because I made money, but in reality, with the amount of share size that I took, you know, I should have made more money. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Staying green is staying green, but you have to understand that, you know, when you're taking heavy share size, it's got to be on a good setup. And if you're going to do it, obviously you're going to be looking for a bigger trade. And I really didn't get it. I traded it 2 times with 5,000 shares both times. So here it is. This was my trade. My first trade on HEAR was right. So first let's talk about it, right? It started running, you know, everyone's trading. It starts flying up. I'm missing it. I'm trading TTD and another stock. So I'm kind of missing it at this point. So then we get up here. Right, I see it come up. right? I see it get all the way up to, you know, right here at about a high of 14, right there, that candle, it got the high of 14 and then just slammed down. But I noticed that it was getting quickly, and actually let me change this over, right? So it tapped 14, got slammed down, but I instantly noticed that it was continuously getting bought up. And then it started to kind of follow the 9 moving average and kept trading up and up. So I was watching it, and what ended up happening was I played a breakout of this trend line right there. Right, so I went from the high at 14 following these low candles down, and I told myself, once the stock breaks through this trend line, I'm gonna go ahead and take it long. So I ended up hopping in long right on the break of that trend line with 5,000 shares, okay? Hopped in at 5,000 shares. Again, as soon as the stock broke, I entered. I didn't get the fill I wanted. If I would have got filled, you know, right at the bottom, it would have ended up being close to probably a $3,000 trade. What ended up happening, as soon as I seen it break, I was a little hesitant. So then I still took it. I ended up getting filled right about the middle of this candle, and it immediately pops up over 14. And I was instantly up 1,200. I went to sell all my 5,000 shares, and I got a little bit of slippage. And by the time I sold all my 5,000 shares, I only came out with a profit of about $780 or something like that. So again, right, 5,000 shares to make $700. It's good, but it's not ideal, right? When I take 5,000 shares, I'm looking to make $5,000. I want to. This stock here, HEAR, could easily move $1 in 1-2 candles, and that's what I'm looking for. And I almost got it. I was just a little trigger shy. Hopped in just a tad bit late, missed it, got some slippage. But if I would have got it as soon as that trend line broke, I would have came close to a $35,000, maybe $4,000 trade. All right. So it keeps going up. It keeps going up. But again, I knew how sketchy HEAR was. Again, these penny stocks. Well, I mean, technically, it's not a penny stock anymore because it's over $5. But you know, these penny stocks will move fast. You know, the spreads flip so crazy. So for me, when I trade them and I'm trading heavy share size, it's to be in and out. Get my money, get out. Don't mess around with the fire too long, okay? It's like the same thing. You dance around a puddle long enough, you're probably going to get wet, okay? So I didn't want to hang out, and there was 5,000 shares. Things already up big time today. I didn't want to risk it just rolling over, dumping on me. So I took the $700 and was happy with that. So I continued just, you know, working, doing some things. I missed the big move, right? This was the move that, oh, sorry, it's over here. I missed this next big move. It was easily identifiable, and I completely missed it over this trend line break. And I missed that one. So I was kind of disappointed about it. You know, it is what it is, right? It happens. So I continued watching it later in the day, and I actually nailed this trade pretty good. But I got out really early, and you know, hindsight 2020, looking back, and I really had no reason to get out. It was more or less the share size that I had was 5,000, and you know, I was already up on the day. I didn't really want to lose, and then you know, so what ended up happening here on my next trade with HEAR, again, I made about $700 on 5,000 shares, which sucks. That's not a big enough gain for 5,000 shares. So what happened here is I was watching HEAR. It started grinding up right here, and then I ended up buying the breakout of that trend line. Once again, it pops up. I didn't get the best fill, so I got in just a tad late again. It pops up, and let me zoom in actually. Right, so I buy the breakout on this trend line here, right, and I get filled probably halfway into the candle. It pops up. This candle immediately goes red. So now I'm instantly down a couple $100. I'm like, God, you know what? Let's hold it. Let's see how it reacts. It starts following the 9 moving average up ever so beautifully. And then this one right here, this was the candle. It popped up on that candle, or actually, no, it was this candle right here. Popped up on that candle, and that's the candle I sold on. The reason I sold there is, you know, all these candles were just kind of going back and forth, getting a little like, you know, a little choppy. There were dojis, and it just wasn't really moving, right? So I was like, you know what? I'll just lock it in. So I sold. I ended up locking in $700 on that trade with 5,000 shares. Again, not the greatest. And the next thing you know, it just flies through the roof. So I was just like 2 minutes too early getting out. I would have had myself probably a $5,000 to $7,000 trade if I would have stayed in, because I got filled somewhere in the 1550 and it flew all the way up to 1750. So right there alone would have been $5,000. If I would have held through this pullback, it popped up another dollar. That would have been $10,000 on that trade. But again, that didn't happen. So I sold a little early, locked in $700, and as you can see here, you know, there's a profit and loss on that one, $1,482. So between TTD and HEAR, I'm sitting up about $3,000 on the day. Okay. So then the next stock that I had traded today, not the next one, but earlier in the day, I traded the stock SYMC, which we also mentioned on our morning watch list to watch for a breakdown or a squeeze. And today, I don't know what happened to me earlier today. I think I just got faked out. I got a little nervous. I just, for whatever reason, I sold out on this position, and I really had no reason to. And if I didn't, I would have made about $4,000 right in the beginning of the day. So again, you know, you go from having a potential, you know, $10,000 winner on HEAR, and you only lock in $700. You could have had a $4,000 winner, Connor, on SYMC, but you sold out for whatever reasons, right? So, you know, no one's perfect. And, you know, even when you get good at trading, there's going to be these times where you make the silly mistakes, or you get in a trade and all the stars are aligning and you still get out. It happens. Welcome to trading, right? It's an emotional game. So what happened here on SYMC is I was watching it today as pre-market action was taking place, and they had some negative news. There was something about an internal investigation. They did have an earnings report, but I guess on the conference call, I believe it was, they had they're talking about they have an internal investigation taking place inside their workplace. And so that's primarily what was really dragging that stock down today. So long story short, as soon as the bell opened, I hopped in with 4,000 shares on that first candle. It drops down. I'm instantly up a couple $100, and then it squeezed back up, and then I went red a couple $100, and then it dropped down again, and it went. So it was kind of battling. It was going down, it was going up, it was going down, it was going up. So, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you're in 4,000 shares deep right now. Okay, you're in 4,000 shares deep, big position, right? It's got a lot of volume, meaning this thing could move very quickly. As you can see, it dropped a whole point, actually more than a whole point in a couple minutes. So, you know, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, all right, you're in 4,000 shares deep. All right, this thing's been trending down, right? Look at this. It's been trending down all morning. All morning, it's just been trending down, right? So there's been a lot of people already shorting the stock, pre-market and stuff like that. Right, there's a lot of short sellers that probably hopped in on this candle for a fact. I was one of them. So I hop in 4,000. We get a little. We're going through a little fight. We got to drop in, going back up. So I'm like, it was kind of like the TTD trade. I'm up, I'm down. I'm up, I'm down. I'm like, no, I'm in 4,000 shares right now. It's the first candle of market open. The thing's popping back and forth, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, this thing's already been getting short sold all day. Right? If for whatever reason I'm wrong and it flips around and it squeezes up similar, and let me go back, right? If I'm wrong, kind of like I was on TTD, right? If I'm wrong here, right? And if I'm wrong, like I was TTD, and it pulls this and it squeezes, I will be screwed, right? And I was in 4,000. Oh, let me go back. I was in 4,000 shares at this point, right? I'm in 4,000 shares on this first candle. And if it were to do that and squeeze, I could instantly be down $3,000, you know? So I'm like, you know, let's just take it off the table. At that point, I just didn't feel comfortable with it, right? So I ended up locking in like $60. It was like $60 on that trade. So next thing you know, it just shits the bed, just tanks. And I'm like, man. And looking back in hindsight, 2020, you're like, wow, you really had no reason to cover, right? So that trade in itself was just I just had very poor follow through on that trade today. Instead of locking in $4,000, actually a little more, no, it probably would have about 4,000 because I got in at like 1990, you know, and it was going from 1990 to to like 2011, 1990, 2011. So, you know, I would have been able to lock in about $4,000 if I held all the way, which I wouldn't have done. So the profit potential would have been $4,000 a day on that trade. But I would never have held that long. I would have sold half somewhere on these drops and then maybe let the rest ride. So again, lost out on a $2,000 to $3,000 trade this morning from poor follow through. It is what it is, right? So I ended up losing a total of $674 on SYMC today. So there was multiple areas that I traded this, right? I think I may have tried to like reshort the breakdown in the 9 moving average, got squeezed. You know, then there was a trade over here where we played the breakdown of the VWAP where I made a little money back. So there was just some choppy trades that I took in here. And then, so basically I was kind of just fighting it, trying to make some money on this. And it just didn't work. So I ended up with a $674 loss on that stock today. Again, is what it is. Hindsight 2020, you can't go back in time, right? So lost 674 on that one today. And then the other ticker I traded was purely out of kind of fun and to show some members in our chat room what I was doing. But where was it? I entered, yeah, this is one of them. It was right here. I was showing them examples on shorting tops, and basically what I did was I got in short on this rejection candle. I took Facebook short, popped down to the 9 moving average, then it looked like it wanted to squeeze. So basically I ended up just doing a worthless trade of shorting this just as an example to show them that this is what a rejection candle looks like. So after a stock's been moving up, if you ever get one of those inverted hammer candles at the top of an uptrend, it usually signals a downtrend's coming. So I shorted this candle and then ended up getting squeezed up a little bit and lost some money. But at the end of the day, it was more or less for learning purposes. So I ended up taking a $48 loss on Facebook today. And that's primarily all of my trades for today. So all in all, not the best day. Being up $2,300, that's good. But looking back, could have executed a little better, could have had some better follow through today, you know. But there's always next week. There's always the next trading day to improve on your skills. And that's what I'll do next week. So again, we're ending that day down $2,300. So again, happy about that. Lastly, before I head out here on this video, so for any of you guys that tune in on this, you know, if you follow me religiously or on a regular basis, then you probably already know. But if you don't, and you're just tuning into this video for the first time, we do have a private group. It's called Boiler Room Trading. First and foremost, it's the most inexpensive, or it's the most cost-efficient trading course in the whole market. That's a fact. But better yet, all next week from Monday to Friday, we're going to do a free, we're not going to do a free, ideally all it is we're going to give you, we're opening our chat room, our live trading room, shall I say. We're opening up our live trading room to the public. So if you're interested in trading, you've never traded, you're trading a little bit, whatever the case may be, or whatever situation you're in, and you're coming across this video, the link will be in the description below. It's going to be called a Zoom link. And then the title will say, hey, this is going to be the link to join into our live trading room next week. So from Monday to Friday, starting at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 11 a.m., 12 o'clock, the lunchtime Eastern Standard Time is when the live trading room is going to be open. So all you got to do, if you're watching this video and you want to join into our trading room for the next week and check it out and see what it's all about and see what we do on the inside and the back end work of our live trading room, is all you're going to have to do in this video is go down to the description box, click that link, okay? And that's the link you're going to use this following Monday. It will be Monday the what? It will be Monday the 14th. So on Monday the 14th, the link in this description will bring you into a live stock trading chat room, live streamed trading in real time, stock scanners. You'll have more than just me. There's going to be a couple other traders that are joining in with us on the live trading room that are a part of our team as well. So through all next week, right, Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for free. Whoever would like to join will have free access to our live trading chat room. You guys can ask us some questions. We'll get to them as quickly as we can. But you'll have free access to trade with professionals. And at that point, that's all you got to do. There's no credit card needed, no registration required. All you got to do is follow the link in the description below on Monday morning. You can copy and paste it. You can bookmark it. You can write it down, whatever you need to do to save that link. It'll be up and running for Monday morning. So it's created now, but nobody in the room will not be running over the weekend. It's only going to be open on Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 11 or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Again, no credit card, no registration required, nothing like that. If you do like the service we provide, you can always join into our group afterwards. But again, this would be a fun thing you guys can check out. So again, that's all I have for you guys. So I hope you liked the video. And again, remember, Monday morning, it's first come, first serve. There is a limit right now of 1,000 people that can join in. To be honest, I'll probably upgrade that so we can have more people joining in. But again, it is first come, first serve. Room opens at 7:30 a.m. Hope to see you in it.